Hello everybody, this is Barry from Knitting for Love, and today's video is going to be about increasing and decreasing. So basically I've already cast it on, knitted several rows, and as you can tell, I've used a long tail cast on, and I'm using worsted weighted wool weight yarn, and I'm got a size 7 knitting needle. These are double pointed needles because they're easier to work with. So basically we're going to go into increasing first, and you will come across patterns that will say increase a number of stitches. Now you can do this in two different ways. That I personally like is make one and KFB, which is knit front and back. The knit front and back stitch is easy, and as you can tell, for beginners anyway, it's not easy. You'll get the hang of it if you practice it. But what will happen is your stitch, each stitch has a front side and a back leg. So it's a front leg and a back leg. And KFB, which is knit front and back, you're going to knit the front stitch, the front leg, pull off. You're going to have one stitch here. Now this is your knit stitch, but don't pull off yet, because you got to come behind and pick up that back leg and knit that also, and now you have two on this stitch instead of just one. So now you're going to drop that one off. So let's do that again. This is knit front and back, so it's knit the front, turn over, make sure you see what you're doing, and you see that, and you knit that also, and now you can drop off. So that's the front and back, and we're going to do that again. So we're going to knit the front, and now we're going to knit the back stitch. And that'll be that. Now, there is another stitch called make one, or M. And you're going to make one by going into the stitch below it. So basically, if we're looking at these stitches, let's see if I can get this good for you. There we go. There's a whole ladder here, and inside each V is a hole, and each one of these came from the stitch below. So if you're going to make a stitch, you're not going to go in the stitch you normally go into, but you're going to go into the one just underneath it. So if you open it up and go in there, you're going to wrap and pull through. Now you've made a stitch, and now you can knit the stitch that you want to knit, and there you have it. So we're going to do it again. So make one is not that stitch, but the stitch below it, and you're going to wrap and pull it through, and now you're going to knit your stitch. So let's do that again. So basically you're going to go into the stitch below it, and that you made one stitch, and now you're going to knit the next stitch. So basically that's it for increasing and decreasing. I'll do that again. Well, increasing anyway. We'll get into decreasing in a moment. We're going to knit this stitch, and then we're going to knit this one. Now I'm just going to knit these two on the end. And if you want to increase on the end of the row, they might say to, my yarn is caught on something. You're going to want to increase on the end of the row. You can basically use the single cast on to do this with, and you can cast on other stitches like so, and you're increasing on the end. Sometimes it asks you to increase right before the last stitch, so you just increase one. You make one right before the last stitch. But this is how you would increase outwards if you wanted to use, and it has a nice little edge to it if you want to increase that way. If you want to increase this way, you'll cast on same manner and then start knitting your work. But that's how you would cast on to increase your stitches on the edge. It's easy to fix. Now, to decrease stitches, you're either going to knit two or purl two together. And most patterns will have you either purling two together stitches or knitting 2 stitches together. And right now I'm just purling 2. And basically that's pretty, straightforward. It's just you purl 2. Sometimes you can purl 3. Or you can, now I'm going to purl these 3 together. The more stitches you put together, the more you're taking away. But if, say, they have you slipping and then knitting one or purling one and then passing that stitch over it, you've actually decreased a stitch, because now that stitch no longer exists. It's down here on the bottom of your work. So basically knitting or purling, I'm going to go on the knit side, and I'm going to knit 2 together. And there's a bunch of ways to decrease, but this is one of the more popular ones, is knit 2 together, or knit or purl 3 together, or purl 2 together, and you'll see it. It's K2 TOG or P2 TOG, which is purl 2 together, knit 2 together. There's abbreviations, but that's it for decreasing. And as you can tell, I'm back down several stitches, and this will actually start to shrink and shrink and shrink if you decrease stitches. Now, dropping stitches is not a decrease method unless you're doing a laddered method, which means I would have knit 2 together down here and I would have dropped that stitch and laddered it down on purpose to make a laddered stitch, which is another pattern entirely, which will be for another video. Please let me know if there's anything you would like and to see, and let me know in the comments below. Share, like, subscribe, and happy knitting. Bye now.